So I'm gonna be talking about a crisis management plan for leisure management and hospitality industry. Define a crisis. So we have four crises here. First is the public relation crisis, customer service failures, financial crisis, and lastly the natural disasters. And there are scenarios that may occur in the leisure places. The first one is the controversial event programming. Hosting an event with content or speakers that generate public outrage or controversy. Poor facility maintenance. Lack of regular maintenance recruits in malfunction equipment or facilities impacting the overall experience for visitors. Next is the amusement park. Significant decline in attendance following a high-profile accident impacting ticket sales. Next, earthquake. A seismic event causing structural damage to buildings or outdoor installations. Liability for accidents. Scenario accidents leading to injuries where the venue is held legally responsible, resulting in lawsuit. So once we know the potential crisis that may occur in the leisure places, we should establish a crisis management team. So the first one, we should have a team leader or the venue manager on director. These are the responsible for overall coordination and decision making during the ONCES. Next is the security director. Oversees security measures and ensures the safety of patrons and staff. Operations manager manages logistics, infrastructure, and operational aspect during the crisis. Guest service manager focuses on communication with patrons, addressing concerns and managing the overall guest experience. Health and safety officer monitors and implements health and confetti protocols, especially during health emergencies. And next one is the finance representative. Manager financial aspects including budget allocation for ONCES response and handling financial implications. So once we establish a crisis management team, the next thing we should do is develop a crisis response procedure. So controversial event programming crisis response procedures. First is the initial assessment. Immediately assess the nature and extent of controversy surrounding the event programming. Gather information on public reactions, media coverage, and potential risks. And this should be done by the team leader. Next is the communication strategy. Develop a clear and consistent message addressing the controversy. Coordinate with the team leader for approval before any external communication. Prepare statements for media inquiries and social media response, and this should be done by the communications and PR representative. Next is the security measure. Assess and enhance security measures for the event, considering potential protests or disruptions. Collaborate with local law enforcement for additional support if it's necessary. Next is the guest service and patron communication. Train staff on how to handle inquiries and concerns from patrons. Provide clear information in any changes to the event programming and available support services. So for the next scenario that may occur in the leisure spaces, for the crisis scenario, poor facility maintenance. Initial assessment, the team leader will confirm the nature and extent of the facility maintenance issues. And the operations manager will assess immediate safety risk impact on the ongoing activities. For the intermediate actions, the operation manager will coordinate with maintenance and staff to address urgent issues affecting safety. And for communication, draft a preliminary statement acknowledging the maintenance issues and assure patrons that actions are being taken. Guest service manager will communicate with guests about any temporary closures or alternative arrangement. So for the resolution planning, the operations manager will develop a plan for addressing and resolving a maintenance issue efficiently. And the logistic and coordinator will arrange for necessary equipment and resources to expedite repairs. For legal coordinations, the legal advisor will assess any legal implications and advise on any compliance with safety regulations. And the finance representative will estimate potential financial impacts and allocate resources for immediate repairs. And for continuous monitoring, the health and safety officer will regularly inspect affected areas to ensure ongoing safety.
This is the public liaison officer will keep the public informed of progress through regular updates. Next is the follow-up actions. The operation manager will implement long-term maintenance strategies to prevent recurrence. Next is human resources representative that will address any staff-related issues contributing to poor maintenance. Next is the documentation. The IT and data security specialist will ensure that all actions, communications, and resolutions are documented for future reference. Next is legal advisor. Will document compliance with regulations and any actions taken to address legal concerns. Team debrief. The team leader will conduct a debrief session to evaluate the response, identify areas for improvement, and update the crisis response plan accordingly. Next is safety code violations. So for the discovery, operations manager identifies safety code violations. For the notification, inform team leader and legal advisor immediately. Then for the assessment, legal advisor reviews the violations, operations manager coordinates corrections. Then for the communication, public relations representative drafts a statement for guests and media. Next is for the correction, operations manager oversees immediate corrections, regular safety audit. The intellectual property disputes, the notification, legal advisor inform of potential disputes. Next is investigation, legal advisor leads an investigation, communications representative prepares public response. Then the resolution, legal advisor negotiates with involved parties, communications representative communicates resolution. So the fourth is earthquake crisis response procedures. Immediate response, the team leader will activate the crisis management team, ensure all team members are accounted for. Then the security director will initiate emergency protocols for evacuation and crowd control. Operations manager will shut down any equipment or rides that could pose a danger. Next is evacuation and safety. The security director will direct security personnel to guide patrons to designate evacuation points away from structures and potential hazards. Then the guest services manager will communicate calmly with patrons, providing clear instructions for evacuation and addressing concerns. Then the medical assistants, the health and safety officer will assess injuries and coordinate with an on-site medical staff for first aid. Then the operations manager will provide access to emergency medical equipment and ensure a clear path for medical personnel. Then the communication and public relations, the communication and PR representative will issue public announcements, keeping patrons informed about the situation and evacuation procedures. Then the public liaison officer will address concerns from the community and media promptly. Next is the post-crisis evaluation. The team leader will conduct a debriefing session with the crisis management team to evaluate the response and identity areas for improvement. The logistic coordinator will manage the restoration process, ensuring a systematic reopening of the venue. Next is the training and preparedness. The human resources representative will schedule regular drills and training sessions to ensure staff readiness for future seismic events. The next is the crisis scenario, the liability for accidents. Immediate response, the team leader will activate the crisis management team and take charge. The next is security director will secure the accident scene, ensuring the safety of patrons and preserving evidence. Then the operations manager will assess the impact on operations and implement immediate safety measures. For the medical assistance, the guest services manager will coordinate with emergency medical services, ensuring prompt. Next is the communications and PR representative will draft a preliminary statement for internal and external communication, emphasizing the venue's commitment to safety. Next is the public liaison officer will establish a communication channel with affected individuals and their families, providing updates and support. Then the legal guidance, the legal advisor will provide immediate legal assessment, advice, and cooperation with authorities and initiate communication with the venue's legal representation. For the documentation, the security director will document the accident scene thoroughly, including witness statements, photographs, and any other relevant evidence. The operation manager will document any equipment malfunctions or safety hazard contributing to the accident. Then, for the communication plan for crisis management, first is the primary spokesperson. The communications and PR representative will act as the primary spokesperson for external communication, addressing media inquiries and conveying official statements. Then, the guest services manager will communicate directly with guests, providing updates on the situation and instruction for their safety.
Internal communication channels. The public address system will utilize the venue's PA system for immediate and clear announcement to all patrons and staff. Internal email system will send detailed updates and instructions to all staff members, ensuring a consistent flow of information. Number 3 is external communication channels. Media releases will provide timely and accurate information through prepared media releases coordinated by the communications and PR representative. Dedicated website or portal will establish a crisis information portal on the venue's website for real-time updates accessible to the public. Number 4 is protocols for communicating with guests. Guest services manager will communicate directly with guests through announcements, signage, and designated information points within the venue. Public liaison officer engage with affected individuals and their families, offering support and addressing concerns personally. Number 5 is protocols for communicating with the media. Communication and PR representative hold regular press briefings to provide the media with accurate and up-to-date information. Legal advisor will work closely with the communications and PR representative to ensure all communications align with legal considerations. Number 6 is protocols for communicating with emergency responders. Security director will maintain direct communication with emergency responders, providing real-time updates on the situation. Operations manager will collaborate with emergency services to facilitate their operations within the venue. Number 7 is social media management. Communications and PR representative will monitor and manage social media channels, responding to inquiries, correcting misinformation, and providing official updates. Number 8 is regular briefings. Team leader will conduct regular briefings within the crisis management team to ensure all members are informed and aligned in their communication efforts. Number 9 is consistent messaging. Communication and PR representative will ensure consistent messaging across all communication channels to avoid confusion and maintain credibility. Next, we will provide comprehensive training to all staff and participants on the crisis management plan. Objective: ensure all staff and participants are well prepared to respond effectively to crisis by understanding the identification, roles, emergency procedures, and communication protocols outlined in the crisis management plan. Training components: introduction to crisis management. Understand the importance of crisis management and its role in ensuring the safety and well-being of patrons and staff. Identification of crisis. Learn to recognize potential crisis scenarios relevant to the venue. Roles and responsibilities. Team leader. Leadership during a crisis. Coordination of the crisis management team. Security director. Security measures, scene management, and ensuring patron safety. Operations manager. Logistics, infrastructure assessment, and operational impact analysis. Guest services manager. Communication with patrons, addressing concerns, and managing the guest experience. Communication and PR representative. External communication, media liaison, and public relations. Legal advisor. Legal considerations, compliance, and guidance during a crisis. Health and Safety Officer, implementation and monitoring of health and safety protocols. IT and Data Security Specialist, protection of digital systems, data security, and response to cyber threats. Human Resources Representative, employee support, compliance with labor laws, and crisis-related HR matters. Finance Representative, financial applications, resource allocation, and budget considerations. Public Liaison Officer, community engagement, addressing concerns and maintaining positive relations. Logistic Coordinator, movement of resources, equipment, and personnel during crisis, emergency response procedures, liability for accident scenario, step-by-step response procedures for accidents involving immediate response, medical assistance, communication, legal guidance, and post-incident analysis, and communication protocols, internal communication channels, proper use of the public address system and internal email for timely communication, external communication channels, crafting and disseminating media releases, maintaining a crisis information portal on the website, protocols for communicating with guests, direct communication with guests through various channels for updates and safety instructions.
Communicating with the media, conducting press briefings, collaborating with legal advisors, and managing social media. Next is the protocols for communicating with emergency responders. Direct and efficient communication with emergency services, facilitating their operations. Practical simulations. Conduct simulated crisis scenarios to allow staff to practice the rules and test the effectiveness of the crisis management plan. By providing comprehensive training covering these aspects, staff and participants will be better equipped to respond calmly and effectively in the event of a crisis, contributing to the overall safety and success of the venue. Next is the regular crisis management drills and plan review. Monthly emergency response drills. Objective is to practice and evaluate the effectiveness of emergency response procedures. Executions simulate different crisis scenarios, allowing staff to actively engage in the rules, evaluate communication, coordination, and overall response. Second is the annual comprehensive drill. Its objective is to conduct an in-depth simulation involving all crisis management team members. Execution simulate a complex crisis scenario to assess the team's ability to coordinate and communicate effectively. Evaluate the application of the crisis management plan in a realistic setting. Next is the role rotation exercises. Objective to ensure that team members are familiar with various roles within the crisis management team. Execution periodically rotate team members into different roles during drills to enhance flexibility and adaptability. 4. After Action Reviews or AAR. Objective to evaluate drill performance and identify areas for improvement. Execution. Conduct AAR sessions after each drill, encouraging open communication and feedback. Continuous improvement meetings. Objective is to foster a culture of continuous improvement in crisis management. Execution. Regularly convenes the crisis management team to discuss lessons learned from drills, real incidents, or external events. Use these insights to refine the crisis management plan and enhance overall preparedness. 7. Staff awareness campaigns. Objective is to keep all staff informed about emergency procedures. Execution. Conduct regular awareness campaigns to remind staff of the rules, communication protocols, and the importance of remaining vigilant during emergencies. 8. Community involvement. Objective is to foster collaboration with local emergency services and community organizations. Execution is to engage in joint drills with local responders, share best practices, and align crisis management strategies with community resources. Last is the technology updates. Objective is to ensure that technological tools used in crisis management are up to date. Execution is regularly assess and update communication systems, data security measures, and other technological components of the crisis response infrastructure.
This topic is Emergency Development Plan for Leisure Activities Management and the Hospitality Management. The 5 emergencies that could occur of leisure activities venues are fire emergency, medical emergencies, security incidents, crowd management issues, food safety issues. 1. Conduct regular inspection of all leisure facilities to identify and address potential fire hazard. Conduct regular inspections of all leisure facilities to identify and address potential fire hazard. Install and maintain firefighting equipment including fire extinguisher and smoke detectors in by areas. Designated and trained team of staff members as the emergency response team established as a clear, efficient method for notifying guests and staff of a fire emergency such as alarm, public address system, or staff communication channel. Develop and communicate evacuation routes for all areas of the leisure facilities. Conduct regular drills to ensure the guests and staff are familiar with evacuation procedures. Number 2 is stay calm and assess the situation. Ensure your property and safety for others. Dial emergency services immediately 911 to provide your location and details of the situation or functions. Administer basic first aid if trained to do so, address immediate life-threatening issues such as breathing or CPR if necessary. If available are any on-site emergency equipment such as AED, IC, or PEST and kits. If evacuation is necessary, follow established evacuation routes or procedures, ensuring everyone is aware and accounted for. Number 3, implement security measures such as surveillance camera will hit areas and access control to determine potential security incidents. Designated a security response team responsible for handling security incidents. Train staff on proper procedures for reporting security problems. Develop procedure for assisting guests with special needs of emergencies. Train staff on crowds control techniques and communication strategies. Conduct regular training sessions and drills for staff to reinforce security procedures. Number 4, evaluate the event venue and identify potential risks. Consider factors such as crowd size, venue layout, and potential bottlenecks. Train personnel in crowd management techniques. Ensure staff understand emergency procedures and communication protocols. Designated specific entry and exit points. Clearly mark these areas and perform. Evaluate the event venue and identify potential risks. Consider factors such as crowd size, venue layout, and potential bottlenecks. Train personnel in crowd management techniques. Ensure staff understand emergency procedures and communication protocols. Designated specific entry and exit points. Clearly mark these areas and have staff management the flow to prevent congestion. Display clear signage with event rules and emergency procedures. Provide information about facility layout and amenities. Regularly monitor crowd density in various areas. Adjust entry rate to prevent overcrowding in specific zone. Develop a comprehensive evacuation plan. Conduct drills to ensure staff and attendees are familiar with evacuation. Number 5, ensure all staff involved in food handling receive comprehensive training in food safety protocols, including proper hygiene practices and cross-contamination prevention. Implement routine inspections of food preparation areas, storage facilities, and equipment to identify and address potential hazards promptly. Enforce strict personnel hygiene standards for all staff, including regular hand washing, use of gloves, and proper uniform maintenance. Develop and adhere to comprehensive cleaning to schedule for all food preparation, surface utensils, and equipment. Use approved sanitizing agent. Implement measures to prevent and control waste of food storage and preparation areas. Conduct regularly pest inspections and take corrective actions as needed. Establish proper waste disposal procedure to prevent contamination and attraction. Implement a HACCP system to identify, evaluate, and control hazard throughout the food production process. Stay informed about and comply the local, regional, and national food safety regulations. Updating procedures as needed to meet fire emergencies. Number 1, fire warden or leader. Take change during the emergency. Direct others to safety and ensure head count. Communicate with emergency. Number 2, evaluation team. Guide people to design assembly point. Assist those with mobility issues. Report the fire warden. Number 3, first aid team. Provide immediate medical assistance. Coordinate with emergency medical services. Number 4, equip operator. Operates firefighting equipment if available. Ensure the distinguisher can available.
Number 5, documentation and record keeping. Records detail of medical intervention and action taken. Ensures accurate documentation for future reference. Next, security incidents. Number 1, security offer. Take a change of the on-call security response. Coordinate communication with emergencies and manage evacuation procedures. Number 2, first aid responder. Administer first aid to those injured. Coordinate with medical services for additional support. Ensure availability and accessibility of first aid kits. Evacuation team. Organize and lead the evacuation process. Next, assess individuals with mobility issues during evacuation. Conduct head counts to ensure everyone has evacuated. Number 4, employee liaison. Keep employees informed about the situation and safety measure. Address concerns and provide guidance on evacuation procedures. Coordinate with HR for post-incident support. Number 5, facilities security. Secure physical access points and emitters, surveillance system. Collaborate with POW enforcement during incidents. Implement access control measures as needed. Next is crowd management issues. First is security personnel. Maintain order and control with the crowd. Monitor entry and exit points, respond to disturbances, and guide evacuation routines. Number 2, communication team. Ensure effective communication to and from the crowd. Use loudspeakers, signage, and digital display to convey emergency information and evacuation instruction. Number 3, crowd observer. Monitor the crowd for signs of distress or potential issues. Report unusual behavior, overcrowding, or other concerns to the security and management teams. Number 4, leadership command team. Oversee the overall emergency response. Make critical decisions. Coordinate communication between teams and liaison with external emergency service. Number 5, grant assistant team. Provide assistance and guidance to individuals with special needs. Escort and support individuals with disabilities, elderly, attend. Number 5, grant assistant team. Provide assistance and guidance to individuals with special needs. Escort and support individuals with disabilities, elderly, attendees of others who may require extra distance. Next is the food safety issues. Number 1, emergency coordinator. Responsible for overall coordination and communication during a food safety emergency. Ensures that the emergency response plan activated promptly. Food safety issues. First, emergency coordinator. Responsible for overall coordination and communication during a food safety emergency, ensures that the emergency response plan activated promptly. Number 2, food safety inspector. Conduct immediate inspection of the affected area to identify potential hazard. Determines the source of contamination and recommends corrective actions. Number 3, clean up crew. Responsible for promptly and carefully disposing of contaminated food items. Cleans and sanitize affected areas to prevent further spread of contamination. Number 4, logistic coordinator. Manage the logistic of removing and replacing contaminated food items. Coordinator with suppliers. Manage the logistic of removing and replacing contaminated food items. Coordinator with suppliers ensures safe and timely replenishment of food inventory. Number 5, regulatory compliance officer. Ensure that the organization follows all legal and regularly. Number 5, regulatory compliance officer. Ensure that the organization follows all the legal and regulatory requirements. Coordinates with health authorities and regulatory bodies during and after the emergencies. Communicate the plan to all stakeholders.
Schedule the meeting with event management to present the crowd management plan. Discuss key elements, roles, and responsibilities. Conduct training sessions for all staff involved in crowd management. Ensure they understand the rules and are familiar with the plan. Disseminate relevant information to event participants and guests. Utilize various channels such as emails, official event, websites, and social media. Prepare concise documentation summarizing the crowd management plan. Distribute this document to all stakeholders for references. Next, keep the stakeholders informed of any changes or updates to the plan. Utilize communication channel to broadcast real-time information if necessary. Last is conduct rehearsals and drill to ensure that the stakeholders are familiar with the plan in a practical context. Use decisions to iron out any potential issues.